Today I want to talk about all of the lists that you need to make before 2019 so that it can be the best year ever. 2018, like 2017, was kind of a dumpster fire, but for a bunch of different reasons. I've become more of an adult, which has been less fun, but in that way I've also started planning more and accomplishing more. So today I just want to talk about all of the lists that I'm going to make before 2019 that I recommend that you make too in order to really plan out at least your first 6 months so that you can optimize the time, achieve your goals, and become a better person. The first list that I recommend you make is just kind of a brain dump. Everything that you're thinking about as far as the new year, 2019, everything that you want to do, accomplish, see, everything that you already know you need to do, whether that's go to this wedding or get married. Just kind of a general, I want to maybe reduce my waist or I want to stop smoking. I have mine in my Infinite Chicago journal, which I'm trying to fill up before I move out of Chicago. I still have quite a bit of a way to go, but this is a lot of my planning and resource list. So my 2019 brain dump contains things like reducing waste, learning Japanese, setting up an emergency fund, traveling at least 3 times, reading 24 books, only buying good quality things that will last, being more confident. I have a couple of habits written down: meal planning, working out daily, uploading on my YouTube channels, on my blog at least weekly. And then I have at the very bottom an overall theme, and this might be something that you want to wait until after you have all of your lists to determine, but my overall theme is don't be afraid, go further. So in 2019, I want to set aside fear, recognize that being afraid or anxious only means that it's very important to me, and go further, meaning take it to the next level, put out the next best content, go further with where you would usually stop. The next list would be a budget, or just a general how much is rent going to be, how much is utilities, how much food are you eating, and just kind of having a general idea so that you don't live as much from paycheck to paycheck. And I have a really great resource, one that I love when I was setting up my budget. I'll link it down in the description below. It's a great YouTube video. And then, of course, a very common list would be a habits to stop or start. So things that you want to do more of and things that you want to do less of, whether that be playing more guitar, drinking less alcohol, anything that comes to mind. But I have a great way to come up with habits that you should start, because that was something that I had a really difficult time coming up with around January of last year. And that is making a list of traits you want to possess or characteristics that you want to exemplify more. So for instance, I have a mental image of the person I want to be in my head, and that person is really confident, they have a wide vocabulary, they can chat with anyone, and I just wrote down the list very quickly here, traits that cool, confident, badass people possess. And then once I had they're passionate about their work, they have a high self-worth, they're ambitious, they're working towards goals, they're positive, they're adaptable. Then I went through and I wrote out what each of those characteristics look like. So people who are confident, they have their shoulders back, they smile more, they have a clear aesthetic in their wardrobe, they don't say filler words, things along those lines. And I went through with every trait and broke down all of the different habits that I wanted to have associated with it. And so once you have a list of all of the traits that you want to possess, you can pick like 3 or 4 that you really want to focus on, at least for the first quarter of the year. So whether if you're trying to be more confident, then maybe your first task would be to have your shoulders back more, and just pick 3 things that you really want to focus on as far as habits you want to build or habits that you want to leave behind. I also recommend you start the year with a list of things that you like about yourself. So whether that be physical traits or things that you've done or things that other people admire. And this is something that you can look back on throughout the year when you're feeling bad or just generally needing a boost. I also think it's important to start out the new year with a list of things that you'd like to have in your morning routine. And that might not be something that you start all at once. Maybe that means that on January 1st you sit up and the first thing you do is take a sip of water instead of checking your phone. And then slowly throughout the year you can build onto your morning routine so that you're accomplishing things in the morning and getting your energy up before you have to go and do the day-to-day tasks that you're dreading anyway. Another list that I have going is my big accomplishments, big projects and other just to-do lists. So you could have a master to-do list before 2018 starts, and that would be a different type of brain dump where you write down everything that you need to do. Oh, I need to go change out the light bulbs. Oh, I need to mark my calendar and put in all of these dates. I want to start my bullet journal. A master to-do list, every single thing you can think of that you want to do. Writing a card to so-and-so and setting this online for sale. Everything that you can think of. Just write out your master to-do list, and after you have that, then you can set up your big projects, the things that you want to accomplish, and then list out underneath that list all of the little tiny steps that you can take when you want to accomplish all of these things. So if you want to get published, first you have to write the book, break down everything that you need to do. You need to research it, you need to come up with a plot for it, you need to write it, and then once you have it written, you need to research editors, you need to edit yourself, you need to research publishers. Break it down into little individual steps that seem a lot less daunting than the big overall thing, so that you're more likely to take the first step and actually accomplish it. And this is very important for our last list. Our second to last list is our priorities list. This is things that you really want to prioritize doing, whether that's going on adventures, spending time with family, eating better, just the things that you want to get the most out of in 2019. I recommend just picking 2 or 3 priorities, whether that's spending time with family, traveling more, being more healthy, things that you're going to focus on throughout the entire year that you want to remind yourself of every day. Once you have those priorities in place, you know not to put anything above that. If your priority this year is spending time with family, then don't spend 2 or 3 days away in your room just writing, because writing wasn't as high of a priority as spending time with family, and that'll help you feel like you're spending your time more wisely. And then lastly is the most daunting list of them all, the 100 tiny steps, or 100 tiny things. And a lot of people hate the idea of this list, but this is one of my favorite lists that I've ever created. And that's taking all of the things from all of the different lists and writing them all out so that you have 100 things on your to-do list. They have to be tiny things, things that would only take a second to do. So maybe that's drafting an email to your landlord instead of sending an email. Or maybe that's getting someone to proofread what you've written. Or maybe that's downloading Grammarly. Or maybe that's getting a cat, or researching how to get a cat, or saving the money to do this or that, or selling this so that you can save the money to do this or that. It's all of the little tiny steps, calling this person. And so every big priority that you have, all of your accomplishments, all of your to-dos, all of your priorities, list out how you would achieve them every single step of the way, and with every single little thing. And then once you have your 100 things to do, and it might not even be 100. It's a lot less scary if you list out everything you need to do to achieve your dreams, and it's not even 100 steps. Just every day, pick one thing on the list, do that one thing, cross it off. And then if you see maybe you've done thing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you didn't do 10 and you did 11, 12, 13, maybe you need to reevaluate what 10 is and see if you need to break it down into smaller steps, or if it's really a goal that you want to achieve and what's standing in your way. Or on the other hand, you can jump around all over the list. Say, oh, I'm going to do thing 21, I'm going to do thing 91, and I'm going to do thing 48, and jump around so that you're accomplishing everything just a little bit at the beginning, and by the end of the year, you'll be really close to achieving all of your goals. So those are all of the lists that I recommend that you make before the new year starts. I really hope this helped you out. If I left anything off of this list, please tell me below in the comments if any of these helped you out. I'd also like to hear that. And to save it for later, why don't you like it or share it with a friend? Or if you didn't like it, then I'm sorry. I hope I didn't waste too much of your time. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.